The beautiful realization that music demands human elasticity violently collides with the pedagogical tool musicians have relied on for over 2 centuries.
The fundamental flaw of the mechanical metronome, the tick-tock problem.
Yeah, the tick-tock problem. Invented by Johann Melzel back in 1816, the mechanical metronome has been the undisputed dictator of the practice room.
Dictator is the right word.
When a student sees quarter note equals 120, they set the pendulum, and the machine enforces an unwavering reality where every single beat lasts exactly 0.5 seconds. Tick, tick, tick.
And from an engineering standpoint, in 1816, it was a marvel.
Sure.
But from a pedagogical standpoint today, it is a significant bottleneck. A traditional metronome enforces a fixed tempo and a singular time signature. It cannot accommodate the natural expansion and contraction of phrases.
That's just entirely rigid.
Completely. It offers zero support for a fermata, the critical marking where a performer suspends a note indefinitely to let the tension hang in the air before resolving.
So by forcing a student to practice a highly emotional, shifting piece of music against a rigid, unyielding grid, we are actively disconnecting practice from performance.
We're teaching them to play like robots.
It is the equivalent of trying to rehearse a deeply passionate, tear-jerking monologue by talking along to a robotic GPS navigation voice.
That is hilarious and sadly accurate.
Like, in 400 feet, express your grief.
Right.
It completely strips the natural respiration out of the art. It forces the human to emulate the machine.
And that profound pedagogical dissonance is exactly what modern software engineering is finally attempting to resolve.
Yes.
If the mechanical metronome suppresses the elasticity of music, the logical next step is to build a timekeeping algorithm that breathes.
Enter the TimeArt platform. Launched by Li Chi-ching in 2026, this software is boldly billed as the world's first humanized metronome.
It's such a great concept.
The central design philosophy driving the entire project is literally plastered on the interface. It says, music is not a machine. Every breath conveys emotion.
The architecture of TimeArt is a direct, systemic response to the limitations of 1816 engineering.
Oh, so.
First off, it completely eliminates the single-meter constraint. A complex piece of music frequently modulates its pulse. TimeArt's engine handles multi-section time signatures dynamically.
So it changes on the fly.
Exactly. It can guide a musician through a driving 4/4 march, seamlessly morph the grid into an asymmetrical 9/8 compound swing, and then drop into a sparse 2/4 rhythm without the performer ever taking their hands off the instrument to adjust a dial.
That's incredible. But the truly revolutionary leap is how it handles the elasticity we discussed earlier.
The custom curves.
Right. TimeArt introduces custom tempo change curves. A mechanical tick obviously cannot organically speed up or slow down, but this platform allows a user to map out an accelerando, a gradual increase in speed, or a ritardando, a gradual slowing down using precise mathematical curves.
It's not just stepping the tempo up block by block.
No, you aren't just jumping from 100 BPM to 120 BPM. You can apply an ease-in curve, a smooth S-curve, or literally draw a custom Bezier curve on the touchscreen.
Drawing it by hand.
Yes. So the algorithmic click track gently exhales and inhales in perfect tandem with the specific phrasing you want. It even allows you to program a fermata on a specific beat. It holds the silence for an exact duration before automatically resuming the pulse.
And the implications for the teacher-student workflow are just staggering here.
Oh, that.
A master teacher can now analyze a complex Chopin nocturne, map out every subtle push and pull of the rubato, program the exact curvature of the ritardandos, and save that entire temporal map as a lightweight JSON file.
So they can just send the file.
Yes. They can then share that customized breathing grid with their student via a simple URL link or QR code.
And the frictionless accessibility is what makes it a real tool, not just some conceptual proof of concept.
It has to be easy to use.
Right. It's entirely cross-platform. It runs instantly within any standard web browser, requires zero local storage, is completely free to the end user, and demands no account sign-up.
No login screens.
None. Student walks into the practice room, scans the QR code on their sheet music, the complex JSON tempo map instantly loads into the browser, and they begin playing.
It fundamentally rewires the neurological pathways formed during practice.
So what does this all mean for the musician grinding away in the practice room?
Well, think about the old way.
Right, let's say you're a violinist trying to master a blisteringly fast, technically demanding run. For 200 years, your only option was to mindlessly grind to a static click, manually bumping the tempo up one notch at a time.
Torture.
Absolute torture. Now, utilizing TimeArt, a student can map an accelerando curve over that specific measure that gradually pushes the tempo from 80 BPM to 140 BPM over the course of 20 repetitions.
That's brilliant.
The software slowly, imperceptibly ramps up the speed, pulling the student's muscle memory along with it, without triggering the psychological panic of a sudden tempo jump.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the TimeArt platform represents a massive philosophical inversion in how the arts interact with technology.
Inversion how?
Well, from Melzel's invention in 1816 all the way to modern digital audio workstations, the paradigm has remained stagnant. The human being was forced to lock into the rigid grid of the machine.
We had to adapt to the computer.
Exactly. The musician had to actively suppress their biological instinct to push and pull the tempo. Now, through advanced Bezier mapping and dynamic algorithmic shifting, the machine has finally been subjugated.
Wow.
The technology has been explicitly designed to follow the natural biological phrasing of the human. The algorithm serves the art.
It is a brilliant evolution. I mean, we started this deep dive looking at a sheet of music as if it were cold, unyielding architecture. We explored how the physical acoustic anchor of middle C grounds our hearing, how the jagged frequency ratio of the tritone creates real biological tension, and how a microscopic shift of a single semitone can rewrite the emotional reality of a major chord.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. We unpacked the asymmetrical biology of compound rhythms and the cognitive map of sonata form. We analyzed how legendary conductors view tempo not as a mathematical absolute, but as a deeply personal acoustic reality.
The cathedral versus the dry room.
Right. And finally, we explored how a 2026 software platform is using JSON mapping and custom algorithmic curves to teach musicians how to let their practice sessions breathe again.
It is the ultimate bridge between the clinical mathematics of the notation and the visceral alchemy of a live performance.
Exactly. And to you, listening right now, we hope you walk away from this deep dive armed with a decoder ring for a conductor's score. The next time you put on your headphones or sit down at an instrument, you now have a totally fresh framework for understanding the physical and mathematical forces driving the emotion you're experiencing.